I love it when we speak to people. It happens quite often, and they've been on the stage the night before. I always think it marks them out as sort of proper troopers, because I know I bang on about theatre is tiring, and a lot of people may say, no, it's not, get a proper job. But it is, it's tiring. And then when these actors come in the next day, now today's was on stage last night in a musical in the hugely well-received Oklahoma, which is running at the moment. It's only Arthur Darvill. Don't forget, you can hear the full-length, longer version wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello.
Hello. How was the show last night?
It was really good last night. We had lots of students in. I actually had my drama teacher from school who came to see it last night, and he brought 50 students, and they were wild.
He must be very proud of you.
Yeah, he was quite
Have you kept in touch with him?
We have, yeah. He was quite a big influence on me when I was growing up. So we've very much kept in touch. But it was great to have a bunch of kind of squealing 16 to 18-year-olds.
It's a different energy when there's a lot of young people in the audience.
It is a different energy. It's nice. I like it. But yeah, no, it's been a really interesting... I haven't been in the West End for a while. And we did this show at the Young Vic last year. And it was a very young, diverse, brilliant, excited crowd. And I thought it would be very different in the West End. But it's been really great.
Because it's not a traditional production of Oklahoma, is it? Explain the difference.
Well, it's all the same songs.
Yeah.
And it's all the same script. Nothing's really been changed, but we have brought out some of the darker elements in it, of which there are many.
So it's not oh, what a beautiful morning, oh, what a foreboding.
Yeah, I would have thought, but yeah, we've just changed the odd line to make it more dark.
How can you bring out the darkness in a show where they're going, oh, what a beautiful morning?
Well, this is the thing. It's the play, which was written, it was based on a play written in the 30s, which was about the creation of Oklahoma State, written by Lynn Riggs, who was of Native American descent and was writing about the violence of that period. And all of that is still in the play. So it kind of presents itself as a love story, but really, it's a love story occurring on land that's been stolen, and we have guns everywhere, and kind of that's quite a big theme throughout the show. And my character Curly, who's kind of pursuing his love interest Laurie, with who has a kind of love rival in Judd. He kind of encourages him to hang himself, and there's a murder, and there's a lot of stuff in.
Which songs does Curly sing?
He sings "Oh, What a Beautiful Morning."
You get to sing that?
I do.
Everything. Wow!
It's kind of an amazing moment
song.
because the show starts. We've got no overture. The show starts with all of us just sitting on stage, and I just blast out the first line on my own, which at first was terrifying.
Yeah.
Because
what's that? There's a bright golden haze.
There's a bright golden haze on the meadow.
Yeah,
it's a really amazing moment because everyone knows the songs. So you see people who've kind of grown up with the musical in the audience, and you see them kind of bristling as the song starts. And it's such a positive song. Like, I come from kind of singing in bands and stuff, and kind of a lot of the time you're kind of singing slightly complicated, depressing songs. It's really nice to sing a song that's just full of hope and is just very positive, and it lulls them into a false sense of security, which is really delightful to be able to.
By halfway through this, hang on, you said the corn was as high as an elephant's eye. Well, where's this bright golden haze gone? Does he do any other songs? Or
Sorry with the Fringe on Top?
You sing that one as well?
And I play guitar all the way through.
Do you?
So
You're talented.
Thank you. So it's kind of... I feel like a country. It's all been rearranged with a bluegrass band. So we've got a pedal steel player and violet. It's amazing. The arrangements are incredible. I listened to a lot of country music and to get into this, which I'd not really explored that much.
It's great
before.
though, isn't it?
It's so
it's
great.
It's so
I
rich.
listened to loads of George Jones. And a lot of Elvis actually was not country, but his country stuff was.
Oh, he did loads.
Really
He did
great.
Loads of country stuff. Yeah.
But just that kind of open voice.
Yeah.
Really resonant stuff. It's so great to sing. The songs really stand up. Like
just a bit.
Everyone's a hit. So yeah, they've been rearranged, and I get to play them. And kind of having the guitar on stage gives me a certain swagger, which is really fun to.
So you say
play.
you play the guitar, and you say you're used to playing in bands.
Yeah.
You've got an interesting background because both your parents are creative.
They
both
are,
your
yeah.
parents are performers
Well,
or just creative people?
both. Creative in many ways in their parenting.
They created
and
you.
They created
They
me.
created you.
My dad's a musician. He's a Hammond organ player. So when I was growing up, he was playing for the Ruby Turner Band and for Fine Young Cannibals.
Wow.
And so he was on tour a lot. But there was loads of music in the house and lots of musicians everywhere.
Yeah.
And roadies and fun
So did you
people.
come to learn of your own volition, I think is a word, or were you told you're going to learn an instrument?
It was just always around. So there was a piano in the house and keyboards and drum machines and, bits and pieces. So I just gravitated towards it all, and it just seemed like a really natural thing to do. And my mum, when I was growing up, my mum was a puppeteer, but she's also an actor and a voiceover artist and a director. And
so creative does cover it then, doesn't it?
It does.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you were at school and you had this drama teacher.
Yeah. Well, then,
school.
I got a bit older and my parents kind of started doing other things. And I went to an amazing youth theatre in Birmingham called Stage 2, where a lot of actors from Birmingham have come from, which was at the Midlands Arts Centre where my mum's puppet theatre company was. And that was just great. It's a school I wasn't too fussed about
Right.
At the time, but we got to do shows and do Shakespeare and, music. We did Little Shop of Horrors and, Amadeus, and we did kind of big things.
Little Shop of Horrors and Amadeus.
A Little Shop of Horrors and Amadeus, yeah. So it was. I feel very blessed to have had the opportunities that I had growing up.
And when did it go from enjoying it to thinking, well, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to be?
I think I'd always thought that was what I was going to do.
It would be a natural way to think, given your parents, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But I had a moment. I mean, I was at school and Mike Perry was a really great teacher and kind of introduced me to a lot of like absurdist theatre and things that I got really, really interested in then. So I was like, well, theatre's my thing. And then I went to the Edinburgh Festival. I don't know how old I must have been like 15 or 16. And I saw a production of Someone Who'll Watch Over Me by Frank McGuinness, which is an amazing play set in a prison. There's an Irish prisoner, an English prisoner. And I think they were university students who'd gone up there and put on this show. And I watched them, and it was as the tattoo was going on in Edinburgh. So there were all these gunshots going on outside, and this play was going on inside. It was the most moving, brilliant thing, and the acting was amazing. And I just went, I can't do that. I need to go and I need to go and train, but it really kind of fueled my love for it. And I was like, I want to be able to.
So did you go to drama school?
I did, yeah.
Which one?
I went to RADA.
Oh, here we go again.
I know.
I was turned down.
Oh, I'm sorry.
By RADA, and yet
some of the best were.
I meet. Oh, that's what they say. Yeah. I meet so many. I'm going to use the word bloody actors.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I went to RADA.
Yeah.
What did you do in your audition that I didn't do in mine?
Hamlet.
I didn't do Hamlet.
No.
I did Julius Caesar.
Oh, good.
But the whole play, maybe that was the mistake.
Yeah, maybe it was.
Who were your contemporaries at RADA? Anyone I'd know might have seen them in something.
You might have seen them in stuff. Who was I? Well, around the same time, people like Andy Buchan, Tom Hiddleston was a few years above me. Phoebe Waller-Bridge was in my year.
Was she?
Yes.
Was she?
Yeah.
And would you have thought when you were there with Phoebe, one day she is going to go on an adventure?
Be the voice of a generation.
Well, there's that, but more exciting, I think, she is going on an adventure with Indiana Jones in the next film. I mean,
Isn't
that's
that amazing?
more exciting than Fleabag, surely.
Yeah. Yes, I thought that.
I mean, you did think that, You've always had, Arthur, you've always had this wonderful foresight, haven't you? This ability to look forward.
To predict people's
Probably why
careers.
you ended up in Doctor Who, of course, because he is a Time Lord.
Yes.
Well, how did that come about? How long had you been out of drama college?
I'd been out a few years and I'd only really done theatre. I'd done bits of telly, but it wasn't really on my... I just wanted to be on the stage and that's what I wanted to do. And then when you kind of leave, they go, oh, do you want to audition for some telly.
Yeah.
And I did a Dickens adaptation.
Which
I did
one?
Little Dorrit.
Yes.
Claire Foy, which was great. But I was so nervous that it was a really good learning experience. But you train to be on the stage, and you get to do telly, and it's just very different.
You just learnt it bit by bit through experience.
Yeah, I've been really lucky to kind of go in, and I did like bits and bobs the odd day here and there, and I did, a day on the Robin Hood film with Ridley Scott, which had 2 lines and had to touch a horse. And that was a learning experience. I lied and said I could horse ride, and which is
dangerous.
Really dangerous. We were blocking the scene, and I was like, "Well, this is Ridley Scott. I need to, not mess this up."
Yeah.
And he came up to me and went, "So I hear you ride horses?" And I just went, No, I don't." And he went, "Oh, great. Will you stand next to the horse?" And I was like, "Oh, thank God." So I'd had that experience.
You said that.
I
I think if Ridley Scott said that to me, I would say yes.
Right. I just got there and I was like, if they then put me on a horse and I hurt myself or someone, like, this is a big old thing.
Why did his face? Did he just stayed very calm?
He stayed
Ridley?
very calm. I don't think I was particularly important to the plot.
This is the Russell Crowe one.
Yeah.
Was he in the scene?
No, it was with Mark Strong.
Oh, yeah.
I had to hold Mark Strong's horse.
Are your lines legible? Can you hear
Not really.
your lines?
No. I had a big beard and a cowl on. I mean, it was a lovely experience. But things like that make you go, oh, okay, well, I kind of understand what this is.
When you're in that environment, are you watching the other guy? Are you watching Mark Strong?
Yeah.
Who knows his onions?
He was great.
Yeah.
He came to see our show the other day. I didn't remind him of that.
So was Doctor Who the first substantial thing?
It was the first substantial thing. And I'd kind of stopped acting for about 6 months to a year. Because music's my other thing, I'd written a musical.
About what?
It was with a writer friend of mine called Che Walker, who I met at drama school. He's an amazing writer. And he'd written a play called Been So Long, which had been done at the Royal Court a few years before. And he always wanted it to be a musical. And he walked in on me playing the piano one day at drama school and went, "Do you want to write a musical?"
Yeah.
And I went, "Yeah." And I thought I'd keep my music writing and acting separate. And so I didn't, at that point I was like, I don't really like musicals. I think it wasn't really my thing.
Which is ironic because you've done...
Which is ironic because I've done quite a few musicals now.
You did A Sweet Charity, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
I've played that role.
Have you?
I did that at school.
Oh, it's so fun, isn't it?
Oscar
Lindquist, yeah. You
yeah.
just have to have a panic attack in a lift.
In a lift.
Yeah.
And when I did it, this is a long time ago, Arthur. When were you born?
82.
This was before you were born, Arthur.
Sure.
I'm doing it, and I had the highest compliment. One of the teachers who was in it came up to me and said, "Oh, you reminded me of Woody Allen."
Oh, well, that's great.
Because it is very having a panic attack and elevator. But it's a lovely part to bring. Now, when I was reading up on you, I saw that and I remembered it, but I can't remember. Does Oscar, he sings, there was a man with no dream and no plan.
Oh, yeah.
Then one crazy night you came. Sweet Charity. Yeah, I just remember that now.
Which, for the title song of a musical, is not one of the most memorable songs.
No, it's not. Well, as we've demonstrated.
I can barely remember.
I don't think I've thought of it since I did it at school. That show has, let's go through those songs. If They Could See Me Now.
If They Could See Me Now.
Big Spender.
Big Spender, which is a, karaoke classic.
And then I always think is Sammy Davis's version of The Rhythm of Life.
Yeah.
So you did Sweet Charity.
Yeah.
And how long were you in that for? And where? What? It was at.
That was the Donmar. With Anne-Marie Duff playing Charity, and she was incredible.
Yeah. I wish I'd seen that.
Yeah, it was really good. So I have done musicals since.
Yeah.
But at the time when I was writing this musical, I was like, let's write the anti-musical, which is what everyone at that time was trying to do. And we ended up not writing the anti-musical. And I kind of fell in love with the form.
Right.
And we did it. But we went up to Edinburgh with it and we took it to the Young Vic.
That's so interesting. Let's write the anti-musical. And then you fell in love with it. Well, who'd have thought? It turns out musicals do have something to offer.
They really do.
Who would have thought it?
Yeah. It's such a kind of odd art form, because you have the kind of very commercial stuff, which I think.
But the term musical covers so many different things. When I meet people who say to me, I don't like musicals, I think you just haven't seen the right one, that's all.
Absolutely. And I think just music's such an emotional magic in it, because it can make you feel very complicated things just with a melody or a rhythm or the way someone's singing something, and to be able to use that in storytelling, I think is amazing. The first big musical I did was called Once, which I did in New York.
Yes, I wanted to talk to you about that. I mean, you casually mentioned that. So that was on Broadway?
That was on Broadway.
So what was that like?
That was incredible.
I bet it was.
I mean, it was a real dream.
Because that was a hit show.
It was a hit show.
James Corden did The History Boys, and he did One Man, Two Guys. Yeah. And I always remember him saying to me, "Oh, Rob," he said, "Broadway, playing on Broadway is the most amazing thing." I said, "Well, hang on a minute." I said, "You've been in two of the biggest shows that have ever been on Broadway. I'm sure it's possible to play Broadway and go, oh, God, here we go again." So you're in a hit show on Broadway. Who came to see it? Did you get big people coming to see it? Or is that just a James thing? See, James gave me the impression, David Bowie was in. Oh, Steve Martin. There's Barbara Streisand. Steven Spielberg came.
I'm trying to think who could go. Well, John Bon Jovi came in.
Fair enough.
Which was huge.
Okay. Yeah. How did Doctor Who happen?
Yeah, so I'd taken some time off acting to do this musical, and then I went, right, I'm going to join
one of the biggest and most beloved shows that has ever happened in Britain.
Yeah, and then I did it. It was the first audition I'd had since not acting for a while. And I was up in Edinburgh, and they sent the thing through, and they went, "Do you want to audition for this thing?" And I think so Matt Smith, who was playing the Doctor at that point, who'd just started, we'd done a play together a few years before.
So he could vouch for you and say, "I don't care what you say about Arthur. Yeah. I think he's good."
Yeah, which is what happened. And I had to audition with him, which was lovely, and we already had a rapport. It's funny when you just, as an actor, you kind of go, "Oh yeah, I'll say yes to this thing." But they were very secretive about it.
Exactly.
Of course.
And how prepared. Now, I've known some people who've been in Doctor Who, and that's always mentioned. Lee Mack did it.
Yeah.
That's been out now, I think, so I can say yes. He said, "Oh my God, they're very secretive. Yeah. Oh, they don't want, you can't mention this, you can't mention that." How did you take to that world?
It was really fun. I phoned Matt straight away and was like, "I've got to keep this thing secret." And he went, "It's really fun to have a secret. Just really enjoy, because eventually you'll have to tell people."
Yeah.
But he was like, even just spend a few days just knowing it yourself, and it's a really lovely feeling. And then I told my parents outside TK Maxx in Birmingham.
Yes.
And then Mum went in and bought some stuff, which was good.
Well, you can't go wrong with
TK Maxx. Always have a rummage. Never know what you're going to find.
Rummage to fruition.
Yep.
Do you watch Succession?
I do, yeah.
Rummage to fruition.
Yeah.
So you got the reference, you just didn't want to acknowledge it.
No, I liked it.
That's rude.
Yep.
That's rude. I've shown interest in Oklahoma. All we're doing here is talking about your bloody life and career.
Do you want to go back?
I make one smart reference, and it's like, all I want, Arthur, is after this, I want you to give it some thought and think about how you behaved.
I'm so sorry.
With someone older than you, lest we forget.
That's good, though, isn't it? Succession.
Clever, moving it on. Come on. So, Doctor Who now, the huge. Yeah. Matt is in it.
Matt's in it.
Who else was in it?
Karen Gillan.
Oh, so that was that kind of classic sort of thing. Yes. So, you go to Cardiff, of course.
Yeah, which I love.
Here we've got a connection.
Here we do have a connection. All right, I lived in the Bay.
You lived in the Bay, of course you did. They got you a lovely apartment.
They got me a lovely apartment.
And you live in the dream. I'm in Doctor Who. I'm in the Bay.
I'm right outside the Tesco Express.
Was Cardiff much nicer than you imagined it would be?
Yeah, I have a real love for Wales generally. I went to Saundersfoot and Tenby
trying to get back in favour with me.
But no, we went camping every year in Tenby and Saundersfoot.
So you know that area, do you?
I love it down there.
How long were you on Doctor Who?
3 years.
Wow.
On and off.
Wow. And how did it change your life? Because suddenly now you're in something with a very high profile.
Yeah. I didn't really. Everyone was like, "Oh, it's going to really change your life." I was quite lucky because I was, in terms of what my character was, I was very much the third wheel.
Yeah.
So the other two kind of did most of the big press stuff, and I did some of it. But I could kind of just get on with I was quite a nervous man at that point.
Why, Arthur?
I don't know. Well, let's think.
Do you want to share something?
I don't know. I think it was like I felt like I was learning on the job.
Well, you were, weren't you?
Yeah,
you were.
I was really comfortable in theatre, and then suddenly I felt slightly.
So this was all new, and now and they've got to go at quite a pace. I would have thought on Doctor Who.
And luckily, I was
can't hang around.
I was playing a very nervous man, which was really great. And as I grew in confidence, he grew in confidence.
Oh, that's funny.
I made
you can probably chart that. Can you chart that when you watch it back? You can see how it develops.
Yeah,
I think audiences are often not aware that there will often be that arc. I always say with the beginnings of Gavin and Stacey, I think Bryn's accent is a little bit different because I was playing it a certain way. Yeah. And then I just relaxed into it being just much closer to mine. No one's ever commented on it, but I can see it quite clearly. And Marion and Jeff at the beginning of that, it was a little bit different. And then it settles in. And you get
more comfortable in your own skin and trusting that you are enough.
I think exactly right. Yeah. You kind of meet the character halfway and it becomes this amalgam of the two of you. When you chose to leave, apparently.
Well, it was a mutual decision.
Oh, hang on a minute. A mutual decision.
We had a meeting.
Yes.
And they were, it's kind of odd doing like a long running thing because you don't expect in any job to have any security at all.
You'd never had anything like that before, had you?
You just kind of go in and do a few things. Yeah. And I only thought I was doing a few episodes, and they just
that's what the initial gig was.
Yeah.
Oh,
but they just kept us on, which was kept writing for us.
That's quite funny. If you start off thinking it's a few, and they go, "Oh no, we got some more for you." And you go, so obviously they like me. They like what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, also my character kept dying, kept being killed off and then brought back. So every time I died, they would go, "No, but we are bringing you back," which was nice of them. I didn't have to
So the character had physically died, but they found some magical way.
Yeah, it's a time travel thing. It became kind of a running joke. But yeah, we all had a meeting and they said, "How long do you want to do? This is what we think." And myself and Karen kind of felt the same, and they wrote us a really good ending, and we left.
It's brave.
It was a real whirlwind, though, and it was at a time when, because Doctor Who.
There's a Welsh version for you, Doctor Who. Come in, Doctor Who. It's gone to my chest now. Don't you worry. I'll have a look at it. You'll be right as rain in the morning.
It's actually really good. I think that would be a good show.
Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And his car sounds like a TARDIS. It just I'm having it looked at on Thursday. Anyway, enough about that. So you leave. You've built up some financial security while you're doing that?
I mean, a little bit. It's not,
You've had regular money coming in.
It was regular money. It was more money than I'd ever earned.
Better than theatre money?
Yeah, definitely. It was more money than I'd ever earned.
Okay, right.
Before. And
did you put any of it away?
Probably not.
You spent a lot of it on jewellery. If listeners are hearing the sound of metal against wood.
No, these are all meaningful. This was my grandma's ring.
We're talking about rings for people at home.
I don't know if I can take it off. There's an engraving on the inside.
Okay. He's got 5 rings, 4 rings? 4 rings.
4. Okay. I don't know if you can see.
Well, let me just put my glasses on here. Across the generations. Here we
Inside. Right on the inside.
Yeah,
on there.
Give me a second.
Yeah, it's very small. Rob's now looking at the...
It's like Antiques Roadshow.
Yeah, it is.
Well, it would have originally been one of a pair.
Right.
And, I mean, I've seen some go for up to £1,000.
Oh, my God, thank you.
This one is interesting because he would always sign his... I can't read it, Arthur. What does it say?
It says Doreen, which is my grandmother's name. I think it says 1943.
Right, yes.
And my grandfather was given, I think my grandfather was given that by my nan, Doreen.
Yes.
When they started courting.
Oh.
No.
Oh,
must have. Yeah, no, it would have been when they started courting. Yeah, it would have been. Before my dad was born.
Yes, I would insure it at about £1,000.
Yeah, I will.
Thank you for coming along. Well, we've had a wonderful time here at Darvill Court. Thank you to everybody who's brought an antique along with them. We'll see you at the same time next Sunday. Goodbye. Arthur, real pleasure talking
Lovely
to you.
to meet you.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
Thank you.